President Trump's press conference yesterday, a statement really, because he only took about 3 questions, was I thought, and look, I'm a Trump supporter, I'm a partisan, you were a Trump delegate, but objectively analyzing this, I thought it was one of the most presidential statements I've heard in a very long time. It was clear, decisive, succinct, lasted about 20 minutes. He said all the things we expected him to say. The deal was defective at its core. It was a terrible deal. Iran was cheating. They were lying. He's immediately placing the sanctions back on Iran. They're going to be some of the most restrictive. But I want to talk about the nuance. Now, you were with the CIA. You understand diplomatic nuance. I thought there were 3 things that happened that were very interesting to me. One is that he drew the distinction between the Iranian people, who remember life under the Shah and spoke directly to them. 2 was that at the end, he mentioned North Korea, and that Secretary of State Pompeo was in the air there. So I felt like that speech was really for North Korea as much as for Iran. And third, when he left the room, the camera briefly hung when he walked back into the White House on the shot of Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence, and National Security Advisor John Bolton. To me, that was purposeful, and Trump was telling the world, forget the fake news, we're a unified team. There's a new sheriff and new deputies in town. What was your takeaway?
You're exactly right about the unified front, and it is very important what he said, and it was really laudable. He talked about, he praised like Persian culture, and he did make a distinction between the leadership and the people, because that is the real vulnerability here.
Right.
What we've seen in the past couple of years, street demonstrations this year in particular, that the regime is really embattled right now, and this is going to further put them on the defensive. The recent Israeli humiliation, some strikes in Syria that killed Iranians, we're showing that the Western world is pushing back, and the people are increasingly dissatisfied. So he's empowering them by saying, basically, almost the unwritten, what he didn't say, but it's apparent, is that if there were, for instance, street demonstrations to break out, the United States would not be afraid to support them. So this is a very Reaganesque kind of thing, where we did the same thing with the Soviet Union. Reagan always tried to empower the Russian people against their oppressors. And so it's the same kind of thing here. So that's really positive news. What I want to see, the next step I want to see is, I want to see him meet with leading Iranian dissidents, which would positively infuriate the theocracy in Iran.
This is really important content we discuss every day. I want to bring it to you every day. Help me do that. Subscribe to our premium service at www.therebel.media/shows. Go to the App Store, download the Great Rebel app, and go to firescottisrael.com. Sign our petition to have Broward County Sheriff, that incompetent, horrible guy, removed from office by Florida Governor Rick Scott. As always, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.